It's been a long time coming, but I'm finally completing the trilogy. Or tetralogy, since there's two Bubble Bobble 2s. Or maybe pentalogy, since there's also two Bubble Bobble 3s. I guess you could say it's the increasingly misnamed Bubble Bobble trilogy. Parasol Stars was the first game to receive the subtitle The Story of Bubble Bobble 3, and at least in this case, it is properly the third original game in the series. It's also the first console-exclusive game. Parasol Stars was made explicitly for the PC Engine. Later on, European companies would port it to other systems, but this is a PC Engine game through and through. It's also notable as the very first game that Working Designs released. As the US publisher that grew to prominence, that built a reputation by localizing games that other publishers felt wouldn't do well in the US market. Because of that, Working Designs gained a cult following, and their games tend to be very pricey these days. Though you can find a HuCard-only version of the TurboGrafx Parasol Stars for under $100 if you look around. Or you could pay considerably less for the PC Engine version like I did. The plot of the game is that after the events of Rainbow Islands, Bub and Bob, who are now referred to diminutively as Bubby and Bobby, were given a pair of magic parasols. That was convenient since a few months later nearby planets got invaded by monsters, and as heroes, Bubby and Bobby flew off to fight them with their parasols. Their goal on every level is to eliminate all of the monsters that are running around. And naturally, to do that, you hit them with your parasol. Press button 2 to swing it, and if you press and hold button 2, then you'll walk around with the parasol out. You can even put it over your head by tapping up while you do this. The parasol can be used as a shield, but what you really want to do with it is bop enemies, which will stun them and change them to a different color, then pick them up by running your parasol into them, and then finally you can throw them by tapping button 2. That will defeat the stunned enemy, plus it might stun or knock out any enemies that it hits as it goes flying. One particular danger to watch out for are the very large enemies. They require multiple hits to stun, and regularly spawn more smaller enemies themselves. There are a few more things that can help you attack. You'll see drops form on the screen, and you can catch these on your parasol, then throw them like enemies. And if you collect 5 of them, they become a giant drop that has a special ability. The thunder ones will pass through anything, including walls. The water ones become a wave that sweeps along, bouncing off walls and flowing until they're off the screen, and they'll carry anything away with them, including you. And the big fire drop will become a spark that falls to the floor and starts a large area blaze. On the boss stages, that occur every 10 levels, you'll find potions that make those drops appear on your parasol anytime you're holding it up. Typically, that's what you'll have to use to attack the bosses. You've got some fancy movement as well. As appropriate for a Bubble Bobble sequel, you can jump up through any platform, but not down, and if you fall off the bottom of the screen, you eventually reappear at the top. If you're holding the parasol above your head, then you'll float down very slowly. That can actually be a bit of a hindrance when you're holding on to an enemy, and you want to get into position to hit something else. If you need to go way up, you can bounce off of droplets by holding down the jump button, and sometimes that will get you a bit of extra height. You can also boost yourself up by jumping on stunned enemies and then putting the parasol above your head. There are a lot of objects that will appear when you throw things, and you can also collect them by throwing things through the objects. Most of these are just worth points, and the places that spawn these point objects will keep increasing the value of what appears there as you throw more and more things through them. Eventually, if you do it enough, you might see a 100 yen coin, and collecting that will give you another credit to continue with. There is something funky about those credits, though. When you start the game, you get 5 lives, and if you get a game over and continue after that, then you get 3 lives. It's just an odd shift there. There's a few more things you can collect, like crosses that can destroy all enemies on the screen, prayer beads that will bounce around and stun any enemy that they hit, and then there are the crests. The crests appear if you made 2 big drops in the previous stage. So collecting 5 drops onto your parasol once, throwing that, and then collecting 5 once more. Then you'll find a little shield icon with a picture of whatever the previous stage's drop was. If you collect 3 of these crests, then a miracle occurs. And usually this just wipes out all enemies on the stage and lets you go on. Something useful to be aware of is that getting shot doesn't kill you. The monsters that appear might throw lightning bolts, or blast you with musical notes, or throw other things at you, and your parasol can shield you from projectiles, but if you do get hit, then you're just stunned for a few seconds. It's contact with the monsters that kills you. Of course, as the game goes on, those monsters become more aggressive, they get patterns that let them move freely through the stage, you'll encounter stage designs that make it very difficult to reach the monsters. Just don't get hit is one of those things that's easier said than done. Parasol Stars is a pretty big game. There's 10 planets to clear, and 6 stages per planet. Though the last planet is locked behind you finding some things as you progress. On the positive side of things, it's relatively easy to get credits. It might take you a little bit of practice, but it is possible to consistently get them, and so you could keep continuing until you manage to clear the whole game. A full playthrough of Parasol Stars takes over an hour easily. Parasol Stars seems to be a bit obscure in Japan. Even in 1991 it didn't sell well, and so copies these days tend to go for 7,000 or 8,000 yen. However, I also couldn't find anyone who had a bad thing to say about it. That includes people who were surprised at recent re-releases of it, and wound up enjoying the game quite a bit. It seems that this falls under the heading of the well-regarded cult game. My own feeling is Parasol Stars is a worthy follow-up in the Bobble series, taking the broad concepts of clearing all of the enemies from a simple stage, your methods of getting around the level, and the hidden items and power-ups, and then changing up what you actually do to fight the enemies gives everything a whole new spin. I have a really good time with Parasol Stars. I don't know if I'll ever beat it. Things get really tough on those later levels. But it is one of the games on the PC Engine that I'd consider to be a must-play. A game well worth checking out.